Hey guys, here I am with the 2002 Toyota Sequoia, and ever since getting this car, removing the third row of rear seats has really been a pain. So finally I got tired of putting up with it or leaving them in the garage all the time or in the truck. Came up with a way that for about 20 bucks permanently solves the problem. So I'm going to show you how to go ahead and do it, but first take a look at how it works. So all you do now is you take and release this so the rear latches come undone. You take these new handles that I'm going to show you how to make, and you pull the seat slightly up and back to remove it. Here you've got all the parts you're going to need to do this. You have some duct tape, can be any color. I like black. I like a label maker to put instructions on the back of it. A cutter for your 1-inch webbing, and you'll need 8 feet of webbing already cut here to 2-foot lengths. You need a total of 12 zip ties. I prefer to use 4 small and 4 thicker ones. You need a drill bit that is the size of the zip tie. In this case, I used a 3/16, a screwdriver, a way to mark the webbing, tape measure, and something to cut the zip ties with, scissors or a pair of side cutters. If your seats are already out of the car, you can start removing this lower panel on the seat. But if they're stuck in the car, I'm going to show you how to fix it without having to use screwdrivers and other things to try to work the seat out. First, you want to remove these 2 screws here and here at the bottom of this trim panel. And this is from the side that is toward the driver's side of the seats. Then I'll flip them forward and go and show you how to remove the remaining screws on the panel. Okay, now with those front screws removed, I'm just going to simply roll the seat up so I've got access to the bottom of it, and I'm going to take the screws out here, up at the back here, and here on each side and remove those. And now with this panel set of screws removed, I have access to this, and this cable is what I'm going to want to take and remove from in here simply by wiggling the cable up and getting where the ball releases and it comes loose. You want to go ahead and loosen these mounting pieces so it's got enough slack in it to come out. I'm using a set of pliers to help me out. Just lift it up and out. And do the same to the other side. Now with both of those cables loose, it's time to go make up the handles and get the seat out of here and finish it up. What I've done is I've taken my 24-inch strap, and you'll see that I have marked it with the pen for the marking on the strap. Halfway up, halfway down, halfway up at 1 inches, 3 inches, and 5 inches. I then swapped around the strap, and I did the same to the other end here. Again, at 1 inches, 3 inches, and 5 inches, only marking halfway across, because what I'm going to do is now use the hot knife to cut halfway in at each of these points. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cut with a hot knife halfway across, and just make sure that I cut all the way through on this at each of these places that I've marked. Double check that I get it all the way through. If not, I just come back and go ahead and make sure it is. I'm going to do this on all of them and then complete the same thing for all the other straps. What I want to do is make sure that I'm only cutting halfway across on each of these elements, and then I will show you how to go ahead and attach that. Okay, so now this is the key part in making the handle. I've got the straps that I made with the slits halfway through. Tore off a little tape. You can use either the duct tape, or I'm using some blue tape now. This is going to be removed in the long run. What I want to do is attach the strap to this cable. Here's the way I'm going to do it. Is I want the strap here at the back. Then I want to come and weave this part in and this part in like that. So now I have this piece. I pinch that, making sure this part's at the back. I bring this strap around the side here, making sure I don't get it tangled, and that's something that you want to be careful of. And again, I start at the back with this piece, then I bring this piece over the top, and then once again slide this other piece down like that. Now what I have done is I have created this self-holding handle. I'm going to wrap I want to make sure this is nice and neat before I put the tape on it, because this actually is going to be the leading to the final part of the handle. So I want to take that, I wrap a little bit of tape around each side like this. Want to make sure that this tape holds in place. If I need longer strips, I'll get longer strips. But I want to go ahead and have that in place on each side like this. And then I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side of it. And then we're ready to go ahead and take the seat out and finish our assembly. We're more than halfway there. Okay, now that I have the handle put together, I need to make sure it doesn't come apart when I'm pushing this through. So what I do, I need to put a hole here, and then I'm going to put one each side, run a zip tie through. I'm using a hot iron to do this. I like the way it finishes this better. I simply push through. Make sure you don't push into your fingers. That doesn't feel good. Yes, I may have done that in the past. Catch it from both sides. You've got a good hole through. Now I simply take one of my zip ties. I use a little one since this is going to be finishing off and I'm going to be hiding it. And I'm going to pull the zip tie through and set it up here. Pull it snug like that, not too tight to deform that. And I'll do the same here as well as two on the other side. Now with these handles in place, I'm ready to get going. I'm going to actually snap these cables back in here on both sides. That just makes it a little bit easier for the sake of getting this out. Then I'm going to make sure that I've got the plastic pieces snugged up, and we're going to get this seat out of here and then go finish everything up back on the bench. So I've got these pieces down. I want to actually take and close this all the way down, and then I simply take and use the lever, release this back, and I now gently work it up and out to get the seat out of here. And it may take a little wiggling this first time, but you can see it's come free right there. Now with it out of the car for a little easier use, I'm simply going to pop off the plastic and set it aside. I'm going to drill a 3/16 hole right here where I'll use it to support the cable. Before I want to do that, I want to make sure the cable's out of the way so I don't drill into it. And then I drill a hole just as I did over on this side. You can see the hole's already there. When I do that, I then pop the cable back in, put it in here. I take one of the large zip ties, and what I want to do is actually have this out of the way. I feed it in from the bottom side first, so you can see it come through like that. Put this cable back in place, snap it in, and then I'm going to simply close up the zip tie so that'll hold that in place so it doesn't slide. So I'll do that to both sides of the seat. Now I'm going to simply use my scissors or side cutters, cut off the excess on these zip ties as well as the zip ties on the handle, and then I'm going to remove the blue tape from the handle. So now with everything trimmed off, I want to make this look nice and smooth as this is going to be inside the car. So with that black duct tape we had, I'm going to just take and start wrapping this. Go ahead and just bring it across at a little bit of an angle. Wrap it down here so it's going to look nice and finished, have a good feel to it. Now, here you'll see you get to this point, you simply tear a little notch in your duct tape, pull it over, wrap this one around, and you are done. We'll do the same thing on the other handle, and then we're going to put the cover on this back on using the 4 screws. Before I do that, I'm probably going to go ahead and spray a little lube on this. We're just about there and ready to put the seat back in. Okay, so you can see I've sprayed a little bit of lube in here along the track. I now take and slide the plastic panel on, and you'll see what I do is I leave this wire hanging out to the side here, then just use the 4 screws and reinstall it with those, and then we'll go put it back in the car. All right, and here we go with the moment of truth. Now, if you've had a lot of trouble with your tracks for a long time, they may need a little adjustment to get them aligned right, so you may need to play with that. But all you do, put it in, make sure the straps are out of the way, and lock it in place. You're all set. Then you just pull up this release handle on the back, give each of these a pull and a wiggle, and it should pop right out If it doesn't, you can always come and use this back handle to try and help it come out. That's it. Hope this makes the rest of your life with your Sequoia a lot better than the first part.